So how do you make school fun and something that the kids want to do?
For right now, that's really important for toddlers especially, and so just picking activities that are educational pretty much all the time and not using electronic games, which they'll be more drawn to, and then find the learning games more boring. And it's your attitude has a lot to do with it. If you're enjoying it, they'll see that, and they'll see your joy, and they'll pick up on that, and that will be reflected in them.
For older children, I think a big part of it is focusing on things that they are interested in. I mean, there's things that everyone needs to learn, and the parents get to set that requirement of what they want their children to learn. But I think going in depth into things that they like will make it interesting and fun for them. And the other part of that is there's part of the thing you're teaching them is to do things even when it's not fun. So it's fine and even good for it not to always be fun.
I do think the point that Andrea made is really important, which is in their mind it's competing, right? If they're sitting and playing video games for 2 hours or some bright flashy thing that's making a lot of noise, and then you go, okay, write out letters, it's going to be a lot harder for them to do that because they say, well, I'm wasting time doing this when I could be doing this, flashy thing with electronics and stuff. And so if you've created an appetite for those kind of things, you're going to make it a lot harder to teach your children. If instead you keep it that, hey, you want to play, here's a box of Legos, go build something. That's going to make it give them a lot more patience, a lot more where they're looking at it as two competing interests.
And going on field trips is a good way to develop interest in educational things. Like I remember growing up, I didn't like going to museums. With our kids, you say we're going to a museum and they would get excited. So part of it has, I think, to do with, and my parents didn't take us to a lot of museums when I was growing up. So it has to do with what Andrea said, is being interested in things. And if you're excited about it, they'll be excited about it. I want to think back to when we were talking about toys, that a thought that came to mind is picking educational toys whenever you can. Instead of don't have them do mindless activities. And like one of the things I have for the grandkids, I have the wipe off books, and one of the last times they were at the house, they saw those and said, "Grandma, can we do the letter books? We want to learn." And that just melts my heart.
And I do think that, kind of the opposite of that is one of the ways that grandparents can undermine is if they're giving flashy, expensive toys and these things that break after 5 minutes. And so one of the ways to get them to come alongside is to encourage them when they give gifts, for their gifts to be meaningful gifts that are useful, that help the homeschooling and help it doesn't mean that they have to be things that the children don't like. I'm not saying that. There's lots of things. Kids like Legos, excuse me. And so kids like those type of things, and so try to direct the grandparents towards toys that are useful and grow the children instead of distract them.
Put them on your homeschool catalog mailing list. And then the kids, instead of getting something you don't want them to have, you get a really nice K'NEX roller coaster set that the boys spent hours building.